Welcome. My name is Dr. Michelle Paris, and you might recognize me as the director over at the Poppy Clinic. And today you're joining me here in my own kitchen. So we thought it'd be really fun to start a new series in the monthly newsletter, all around what sort of health tips and tricks and tactics we as naturopathic doctors are using in order to thrive on our health, in order to create ease and simplicity and flow, because you get to have thriving health, a lot of joy, and it gets to be easy. So the very first session that I am recording is all around or inspired around a post I put up on Instagram yesterday, and it went a little bit viral. I talked all about how we could preserve organic produce and increase its longevity, because we all have to save money, and there's nothing more disheartening after buying incredible organic produce to only have to throw it away because it's gone moldy before you've had a chance to consume it. So what started off as just wanting to make my fridge really pretty, if you've seen it, I'm very proud of my Sunday fridge. I spend Sunday afternoons prepping all of the produce I have for the week to ensure that my mornings flow really well. And it started with chopping all of our vegetables and making sure they were cleaned and washed so that I could pack lunches really efficiently. And then it evolved to doing a little more research because I was spending more than I was typically used to with all of the inflation and increase in our grocery bill. That had me a little bit more aware of wanting to preserve the food I was buying, and feeling equally frustrated that my produce was expiring before I had a chance to eat it. I love to eat a very similar breakfast every single morning. It is very fruit and berry laden, dense, and I am sad if my food has gone bad. So that's what really forced me to start looking at different alternatives for preserving the longevity of my berries. So what I started to do was to take all of the berries that I was buying and transferring them over into glass jars. I do not wash them before I put them in the glass jars, and then I just put them in the fridge. I wash them right before use in the morning. Strawberries work incredibly well. You'll in fact be able to keep them in the fridge for about 3 weeks before seeing any sign of molding or deterioration, which is really exciting. But then I started to play with it with other berries because nobody likes a sad, stuck together, soft raspberry, right? It's not fun. Blueberries, I know obviously are a little more predictable, but blackberries are notorious for mold. So I started transferring all of them, same thing, not washing them before I moved them to the glass containers, and then I would put them in the fridge. And what this did is it made sure I actually had zero waste with my produce, which really made me happy, again, because organic is an investment, a worthy investment, but there's just nothing more devastating than having to throw it out before you've been able to eat it. So this has just made a world of difference. So like I said, strawberries about 3 weeks before seeing any signs of change or molding. And usually with my raspberries and blackberries, which are usually the most difficult or most vulnerable to mold, they last at least a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. So hot tip for you guys. A couple of other things. I grew this spectacular garden all summer. I'm super proud of it. And at harvest, I was like, what am I going to do with all this kale and all of these fresh herbs? So here's what I did. And then that way you can even use this if you're buying kale and you don't want it to go to waste. I actually decided to dehydrate it. So I just cleaned the leaves, put them in the oven at 175 degrees Fahrenheit, left them in there for an hour, maybe longer if needed. And then I put them in a Ziploc bag and I crushed them up. What this does is it preserves the nutrient content and the longevity, and then I can just add it to my smoothies. A couple of teaspoons is very nutrient dense and no food waste, which I'm all about. I was super proud of my garden. I was not going to throw out any part of it. Lastly, and it's starting to melt, so I'm going to have to stop recording very soon. These are in the freezer normally. I'm going to put them back there, but these are all of my herbs, mostly sage and oregano and thyme, chopped up after I pulled them from the garden, and then put into a silicone mold with olive oil, put in the freezer so that I could use them for cooking in the future. Again, no waste. Hold on, I'm gonna throw this out. Or not throw it out. Throw them in the freezer. I don't waste food over here, as you can probably tell. And those are 3 simple ways I've increased the longevity of my organic and homegrown produce in our home. So hopefully you found that very helpful. Play around and then tag us on social media. We want to hear from you. Is this something that was helpful, that you've used and it's actually saved you money and brought back a lot of joy because you no longer have to throw out your sad raspberries? Let us know. What do you want to hear from us? We are excited to keep this series going, and it was a lot of fun to do it. So thanks for tuning in, and thanks for being a part of our incredible community, and we're here to support you. So be sure to check out our new website and sign up for the newsletter. But if you're getting this, I'm going to assume you're signed up. And have a beautiful day. Take care.